Il est né en Italie, a grandi aux États-Unis et au Canada. Il demeure aujourd'hui avec sa famille à Lausanne et partage son temps de travail entre Boston, Cambridge et Grenoble. Marc Esposito est enseignant-chercheur.
I'm an associate professor of business and economics here in Grenoble Ecole de Management. I'm also the director of the Lab Center for Competitiveness, which is a small research center on competence affiliated to Harvard Business School. And what I'm researching about is economic development, competitiveness, public policy, all of the macroeconomic activity that are shaping the decision. And I think, business school has to step up to the role of shaping also the political arena, because this is a type of conversation that we have not really done in the past.
Professeur permanent à Grenoble Ecole de Management depuis 2006, il est impliqué dans plusieurs travaux de recherche, notamment avec l'ONU, à l'occasion du dernier Forum économique mondial de Davos qui s'est achevé le 24 janvier 2015.
The World Economic Forum is probably one of the most important forum in terms of the meeting between public policy, businesses and basically not-for-profit.
Marc Esposito revient sur son travail de recherche autour de l'innovation et de l'entrepreneuriat en Europe. Le projet s'intitule Driven Entrepreneurship. L'enjeu de la réflexion, créer de nouveaux emplois en Europe. Problème, le système économique européen est fatigué. Peu d'investisseurs prennent aujourd'hui le risque de financer de jeunes talents pour les aider à créer leur entreprise.
Mark, could you describe your work around the innovation-driven entrepreneurship at the World Economic Forum?
Yeah, sure, Mary. So about a year and a half ago, I was invited to join a group work at the World Economic Forum on the project of innovation-driven entrepreneurship. Basically, two different reports have been produced. The first one was produced in January 2014 and presented in Davos during the annual gathering of the World Economic Forum. And I was in that meeting, and it was presented to two different heads of states during the same meeting, and then further on to a number of different stakeholders. And the second report that was collecting the first preliminary feedback on the preliminary report was produced in June 2014. I've been a cross-team contributor, which means I have worked through the report. I have revised and reviewed the nature of the report to make sure it was coherent with what the forum was trying to achieve. So I had more of a researcher, like a hat, in making sure that I was probing what was the information there. I have also contributed with an opinion piece about the 2030 organizations, and that was part of the final productions.
What is at stake?
Europe has been in a stagnating growth for the last 5-6 years. The financial crisis meant much more to the European context than in the US by collateral damages. So I think Europe really needs to restart the economic engine in making sure that we are delivering new employable jobs for people who are actually studying, deciding to move up into the echelon of social fabric. But this hasn't really happened at large. And I think one of the reasons why it hasn't happened is because entrepreneurship has stopped producing those talents in terms of this new idea that are attracting people to the new concept. We like to reactivate the process, making sure we understand entrepreneurship in a much more grassroots and micro level, allowing a young startup entrepreneur to have a voice in Europe. And I think it's nice to start thinking there's not only the migration from the south to the north of Europe, but we going to have ability to have distributed opportunity across the 500 million people living in the EU. So at stake, we have the future of the entire European Union.
What is the objective and the impact of your work?
So the objective of my work is definitely to let everybody know about this. The report have come with a clear and actually quite easy framework to understand what is innovation-driven entrepreneurship. The impact I would like to have, especially as we're moving into the implementation of this, is to start having a lot of different small companies that step up to the framework, step up to the opportunity, and they get integrated into the entrepreneurship network in Europe by having access to funding that might have never heard before, by attracting capital from venture capitalists that might want to invest. We found in the preliminary stage that there are miracles happening in parts of Europe where usually we have no economic growth. The perfect example is we would think that Greece has no innovation. That's wrong. We have so many Greek entrepreneurs that are actually ready to move it up to the next level. But if we're not generating the bridge between what happens on the ground and the ability for us to match the access to capital, we're not going to succeed. And so basically, that's the hope I have and the impact I wish to have in this project.